Shri Gurubhyo Namaha children. Today we are going to start our new lesson, Unit 3. The topic of the lesson is Rural Life and Society. So we are going to discuss various things about the lifestyle of the people, rural people and their living and how they lived under the rule of British. So, we are going to discuss about the land revenue policy under the British rule. We are going to understand the merits and demerits of the land revenue policy and to know the agrarian crisis and revolts. So, if you take a pre-colonial period, our Indian economy is an agrarian economy. So, most of the people they depend on agriculture. Agriculture was their major occupation and some industries were there, but those industries were agro based industries means those industries they used agricultural products as raw materials. For example, you can take sugar mills like that. So during that time britishers what they did, the British government they introduced three land revenue and tenurial system in India. So they were first the permanent settlement and Rayatwari settlement and Mahalwari system. So first one the permanent settlement, Rayatwari system and Mahalwari system. This permanent settlement was introduced by Lord Cornwallis and Rayatwari system was introduced by Thomas Munro and Mahalwari system was introduced by Lord William Bentinck. So in this you can see the land revenue policy under the British, that is permanent settlement, Rayatwari settlement and Mahalwari system. Sorry, Rayatwari system and Mahalwari system. First, we are going to discuss about the permanent settlement and the what is a permanent settlement, and we are going to discuss about the merits and demerits and how the Britishers enjoyed through this permanent system. All these things we are going to discuss. So first one I told you permanent system, and it was introduced by Lord Cornwallis, and in this picture you can see the portrait of Lord Cornwallis. So now features of permanent settlement. So in this permanent settlement, zamindars they were recognized as the owners of the land. So zamindars were recognized. They were called as the owners of the land as long as they pay revenue to the East India Company regularly. As they pay land revenue to them regularly, till that they were called as the owners of the land. And these zamindars they acted as the agent of the government. So they collect revenue from the cultivators and they give to the government. So they acted, zamindars acted as the agent. And the amount of revenue that the zamindars had to pay to the company was firmly fixed. So there will be no changes in the revenue they have to pay. So the amount the zamindars have to pay to the government was fixed, and they gave if they are cultivating 11 bags of paddy, they have to give 100 bags. So this is the ratio of the produce they collected from the cultivators. They have to pay, cultivators have to pay to the government. And zamindars they would give a patta. So you know what is meant by patta? It is some written agreement and that will be given to the cultivators. So the cultivators became tenants. So they have to pay certain amount to the zamindars for cultivating the land. And all the judicial powers it existed in the hands of the zamindar. So these were all the few features of the permanent settlement. And this permanent settlement it has some advantages and also some disadvantages. So under this system, what happened? Wastelands and even forests were cleared and the land was brought under the cultivation because if the land under cultivation increases, definitely the revenue uh, will be increased. So that is the formula followed by them. So they started to use the wastelands as well as they and also they cleared forest areas also for cultivation. So the zamindars they became the owner of the land, and the zamindars they were very true to the British government. So this system secured a fixed and stable income to the Britishers from the cultivators through the zamindar. So Britishers had these advantages, and the disadvantages where the British government had no direct contact with the cultivators. So as they have no direct contact, they don't know how much the cultivators are paying and how much zamindars are getting and repaying it to the government. And second one, the rights of the cultivators were ignored and they were left in the hands of the zamindars. Actually, the cultivators they had no power. All the rights were in the hands of the zamindars. So the peasants, the poor farmers, they were treated as slaves by the zamindars. So zamindars they became very lethargic and they started to lead a luxurious life. And many conflicts between the zamindars and the peasants arose in rural Bengal. So because of this permanent settlement, the rules they followed, people started to rise against the zamindar, and this led to a conflict between the peasants and the zamindars in the rural areas of Bengal. Now, the second system was called Ryotwari system, and it was introduced by Thomas Munro. And in this picture, you can see the portrait of Thomas Munro. And actually, this Ryotwari system it was introduced by Thomas Munro and Captain Reed in the year 1820. So, major areas of introduction of this Ryotwari system it was introduced in Madras, Bombay, parts of Assam, and Coorg. These were all the provinces that were belonged to British India. So, by this system, the rights of ownership was handed to the peasants. So, in the previous system, the zamindars were the owners of the land, isn't it? But through this Ryotwari system, peasants became the landowners. British government, what they did, they started to collect taxes from the peasants directly through this system. And what they did, one half of the produce were collected by them at the initial stage. But after that, this Thomas Munro, he made some changes in the system and he started to collect one third of the crops. So the revenue was based on the basis of soil and nature of the crop they are cultivating. So according to the whether the if the soil is very fertile and if the yield is very high, they collect according to that. So depending on the fertility of the soil and the produce, they collected revenue, and rents would be periodically revised. So they started to revise the rents collected from the peasants for 20 to 30 years like that. So the peasants they felt a little bit secure when compared to permanent settlement. This system they felt a little bit secure. So in this system, the settlement was made between the government and the peasants directly. So government claimed later on they said to the peasants that they are not they are collecting rent for the land, not tax. Okay, now we are going to discuss about the features of this Ryotwari system. So, in this Ryotwari system, revenue settlement was done directly with the Ryot. So, the government had direct contact with the cultivators, and a measurement of field and estimate of produce was calculated. So, they started to measure the field. For example, how many hectares they are going to cultivate and how much they are produce, how much the produce they are yielding per hectare. Like that, they started to estimate the land as well as the produce they produced by the cultivators. And government fixed the demand at 45 to 55% of the produce. So, like the permanent settlement system, a Ryotwari system has also some merits and demerits. So, some effects of this Ryotwari system are, in most areas, the land revenue the government fixed was very high. So, the peasants felt very hard to maintain the expenses of the process of cultivation, and they felt very hard to lead their life also, even though they produce a lot of uh, what to say, lot of production. If they increase the production, if they work hard and increase their production also, they couldn't maintain, because whatever they are earning they have to pay as a revenue. So they were very difficult to lead their life. So under the system, the government exploited the farmers instead of zamindars. So in the previous permanent settlement system, the zamindars exploited the farmers, but here the government directly exploited the farmers in this Ryotwari system. Next one is Mahalwari system. So this Mahalwari system, it was introduced by Lord William Bentinck. So in this system, Mahal, the word Mahal means village. Actually, this Mahalwari system, it was introduced by Lord William Bentinck, and in this frame you can see the portrait of a Mahalwari system, and it was an idea given by Holt Mackenzie. It was introduced, even though it was introduced by Lord William Bentinck, it was an idea of a person called Holt Mackenzie. Actually, this Mahalwari system, it was what to say, modernized system of a zamindari system, modified version of the zamindari system, and it was introduced in the Ganga Valley region, the northwest province, and parts of the central India and Punjab in the year 1822. So he only made some changes. Lord William Bentinck, he made some changes. Lord William Bentinck, he made some changes in this Mahalwari system. And already I told you the word Mahal means village. There will be an in charge for the whole village, and he was called as Lambarder. So Lambarder, they had a lot of power with the cultivators, that is poor peasants. Now we are going to discuss about the features of the Mahalwari system. Okay, this in this system, Lambarder. So Lambarder, he acted as intermediaries between the government and the villages. So in the permanent settlement system, Zamindaris acted as the agents between the government and the cultivators. But here Lambarder, the head of the villager, he acted as an intermediary between the government and the villages. A Lambarder can have more number of villages also he can have under his control. If you see movies and all, you would have heard about various panchayat presidents and all, isn't it? So some group of villages may be under his control. Not only he will be the leader of one village, group of villages may be also under his control. So the lands that are in that particular village, that belongs to the persons, those who are living in that village. So all the members, those who are residing in that village, will be the owners of the cultivable lands. But this Lambarder will be having the power over all the villages and all the lands. So it was a village wise assessment. So the amount of land that the cultivators are cultivating and the produce they are producing, everything will be assessed in the village basis. The people, that is the village community, was the owner of the village common land. Now, what are the effects of this Mahalwari system means? The Lambarder, he only had all the privileges, and some in some areas these Lambarders they misused the power given to them, and this system brought no benefit to the cultivators. So benefit, there were no benefits for the people, there were no benefits for the village community, those who involved in the process of the cultivation. Actually, it was the modified system of permanent settlement system. Only some changes made in that. Instead of zamindaris, Lambarder acted as an intermediaries between the government, and it also benefited only the upper class people. Okay, impact of the British land revenue system on the cultivators. So we discussed about the three land revenue systems introduced by the Britishers, isn't it? So how it affect the cultivators. So if we take the common feature of all the settlements was the assessment and maximization. So all the systems they estimated the amount of land cultivated by the cultivators and the produce they are producing. So it resulted in increasing land sales and dispossession. So the peasants were overburdened with taxation. So Britishers levied various taxes on the peasants. So they were burdened. And in general, the people suffered poverty and burdened with debts. In the previous paragraph also, I told you, even though they yield lot of production, they have to give to the pay to the government in the form of taxes and all, and they have to give in certain ratio of the produce, isn't it? So they couldn't lead their life even though they increase the production, isn't it? So they had to seek the help of money lenders. So money lenders become rich, and sometimes these peasants they lost their lands to the money lenders. So the zamindars, the money lenders, and the lambarder, they had lot of privileges, and they only became very rich. So the British policy proved advantageous to the government, and only uh, it helped the upper class people. So what is the condition of these poor peasants? They lost their lands, everything, and in many places they started to revolt against the British. So in the next classes we will be discussing about the various revolts by the peasants against the British. Okay, thank you children.